Hi guys, Oracle here again, and you're welcome to another episode of the Pragmatic Approach Show. Please continue to like, share, comment, and more importantly, subscribe to this channel. Show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the best channel on YouTube. Sorry, I'm a little bit under the weather, but welcome back to the channel. We've been working hard to keep you guys entertained, to keep you guys coming back to the channel and getting some values from what we're talking about here. So, regardless of how I feel, we are dedicated to making sure that we put out things every week as promised, and we've promised to not let you all down. So welcome back and thank you for the support.
Thank you guys so much. Like Show said, regardless of what's going on in our personal life, the show must continue. We gotta be here every week to keep bringing out new episode, and we are so grateful for the support. Please continue to support us. So without talking any further, let's go to today's topic. I feel like everybody can guess what we're about to talk about. It's the trending topic right now in the political space across America, Europe, and probably the world. The signal gate. I'm starting this episode with a question. Should President Trump fire Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth? Let's start from there, show.
No is the straight answer because
Why?
good question because it's a human error which tends to happen, and we're not gonna try to pretend like this hasn't happened before. So I don't think he deserves to be fired. I'm not ready to go in yet. I want this to hit up really well before I actually come with all my facts that I have. Otherwise, you guys are unfortunately a losing party that are just trying to lean on whatever you can lean on, just to hang in there. This is a failing party. I'm talking about the Democratic Party. You all are failing really badly. Now you all are looking for every reason to make the Republican Party look bad. Otherwise, Biden wouldn't have won the 2020 election. All you all sold, you guys have nothing to sell other than this party is bad, they're anti American, they don't want us to move forward. There's nothing else. Prove me otherwise.
Uh, let's start with your position on if Pete Hegseth should be fired or not. I know this conversation you're going to drag it back to 2015, Hillary's whatever, but you're not dealing with Hillary right now. But if you want to go there too, we will. But in this moment, there's a great breach of national security protocol. And even at just today, there's been a petition submitted to the court trying to see if they can criminally prosecute Exit and all these people. So if there's a possibility that a Secretary of Defense would be going through a criminal proceeding, I think the secretary should be fired. And before we even got to this point, in our private conversations, this was the only nominee that I was critical about amongst all Trump's nominee for secretaries. I mean, there are other incompetent people, but this guy particularly was like oozing incompetence of the highest order, and we know that. Except we want to, lie or be partisan and all of that. I mean, he may have he might have done well for himself, but I don't think for that position of Secretary of Defense, he had everything it took to hold that position. The only thing that got him that job was loyalty to Trump. And I don't think loyalty to Trump should be the only basis why people should be getting such important position in government. So I think even though he didn't create the group, he was the one who shared the sensitive information in that chart. And that for that reason, with his office, with the position he occupied, he should have known better and he shouldn't have shared that. And it was proven that one of the people, actually two of the people on that group chat, were not even in the United States at the time they were having the conversation. One of the people in that chat was actually in Russia. So imagine if the person has lost his phone, or his phone was hacked into by foreign adversaries, and they were able to see things like that. What position do you think that would have put the security of America, and even the security of those um, people in the military that have to carry out these attacks? That would have put their lives at risk. And I feel like for that purpose, somebody should be fired for that gross incompetence. And personally, for me, I think it's with Hegseth, because it was the one who shared the most sensitive information in that chart.
I think otherwise, actually, because you are saying Pete should be fired. Firstly, he's not the one that added all these extra people. They are using the right medium, which is the platform they're using. It's an encrypted platform. He didn't exactly know. Okay, go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but you used the word that got me. You said you were using the right medium. Signal is not government accredited medium to share sensitive or otherwise classified information. So the big, the argument I've seen some Republicans made in this past couple of days is, oh, at the end of the day, the mission was successful, which I'm happy. Great job. They were able to get the enemies. Good thing. I'm happy for the end result. But the major argument is they did the right thing on a wrong platform. And that opens a chance for our enemies, because, yeah, they were lucky this time. The mission went as planned, everything is successful. But what if the other guy that they had added in that group chat was some low life upcoming journalist that was crazy for attention and wanted to make a name for himself? It wouldn't have been matured enough, like Jeffries Goldberg, to like, oh, let me confirm what's going on. Let me, rationalize this situation properly. It could have just a desperate guy for a name or for anything could have just put that out on the internet and could have affected the the whole mission. And that's why there's a place in the Pentagon that is, made for specific purpose like this, where it's when it's time to discuss sensitive information about government, plans like this, they go there. And people who have been there have testified that it's so secure that they wouldn't even let you take your cell phone in there. So, but this is the same cell phone these people are now using to share sensitive information. So I don't think Signal is the right platform. Yes, a lot of people have, I've admitted that Signal is quite encrypted. I personally, I don't use it. So, but I've heard a lot of people say, oh, it's one of the safest. A lot of even the politicians that have spoken, all of them have admitted that they all use signals to share, you know, confidential messages amongst themselves. But still, for military action, I don't think it's the proper way, because as much as it's encrypted and whatnot, it could still be hacked by foreign adversaries, and that's the major point in this whole signal gate.
Thank you for actually vouching for in Signal, or Signal. You said many people, including politicians, have said this is an encrypted platform that can be used, and they used it. The problem here is not that the platform is bad, it's that there was a human error that happened. They added somebody that wasn't supposed to be there, and this person, if they attempted to actually do anything that's against our country, that will be spying, and they're going to be prosecuted. So the person actually knew not to do anything silly, and that's why they didn't. But they put it out there to make the because this person that actually leaked this information or that put it out there has been a critique, biggest critique of Trump. We know Atlantic publishers or publishing company, they haven't been very Republican friendly. So this is nothing new. But there's a human error. It's a big mess up, unfortunately. But We didn't see anything bad, unlike our borders that was overrun by millions of people. Yet we didn't hear anybody talking about, oh, somebody needs to be fired. Of course, there was somebody in charge of the borders. Or are you telling me there was nobody in charge of our borders? How come we didn't hear all these Democrats talking about it? Now, all of a sudden, because they have nothing to run on, they want to talk about let's fire Pitts, let's
I
do this and that.
I have admitted. I mean, I think even on this show or in private conversation that yeah, in the first 2 years of Biden, the border was a disaster. But we're not speaking about border right now. We're
No, you
talking.
you cannot be campaigning or clamoring for firing
We're
somebody when
talking.
you have not been consistent.
How the people in charge of border under Biden with the border control? The only thing he didn't do effectively was bringing out more border patrol officers at the border.
So he didn't do what he's meant to do,
Big,
basically.
you
Or
can't fire the president. And that was one of the reasons why we lost this election. But in this clear case of signal, there's a human, not even human error. There is human carelessness of sharing sensitive or otherwise classified information on a platform that is not the right platform to share such sensitive information.
But what you are not talking about, though, you need to admit the fact that during Biden's presidency, they
They
had the
didn't share the Secretary of Defense under Biden didn't share war plans or attack plans on Signal and adding Sean Hannity or this Jesse Walter so what's his name from Fox. And Austin Lloyd didn't do that when he was Secretary of Defense. So we're talking about its incompetence of sharing attack plans 2 hours before it happened in a group chat that is not supposed to be the government accredited group chat for such. So that is the problem right now. The closest thing you can argue would be Hillary's email
I
segment.
don't even want to talk about that because you're already talking about it because it's a bad thing. But she wasn't prosecuted. Nothing was done to her. She deleted thousands of email from her phone or her laptop without any prosecution. We didn't hear any Democrats talking about, oh, she needs to be jailed or whatever. Yes, some Republicans talked about it. But let's talk about the borders. These people actually jeopardized Americans. Americans died. This matter you are actually bringing up. Nobody died. We didn't lose anything. Let's talk about another one. Go ahead. You wanted to say something?
Thankfully, nobody died. I'm very grateful, and like I said earlier, while in this conversation, I appreciate the fact that they went against the American enemy and they did a good job. Perfect. That's not the point. However, the point is the opening a signal chat to communicate about that action is wrong. It can jeopardize people's lives, and somebody needs to be held accountable for such action at minimum or at minimum. And this is the problem now. Instead of you people admitting that, oh, this is wrong, this is a this is a messed up situation, we're sorry, we could do better. They're trying to, the first thing Hegseth said was it never happened. It literally said it lied when the news first got out that it was a hoax, da. And it didn't know the White House and the second the NSC had already confirmed it. Then when they confirmed it, they started to attack the guy. They moved to okay, yeah, we discussed things, but it wasn't. No, there was a screw up. Just own up to the screw up, apologize, and keep it pushing. There, yeah, the operation was successful. That would have been a good way to say, "Oh, we're sorry, we did the wrong thing, but thank God the operation was successful. We're moving." But they're still trying to. It was literally Republicans who made it a partisan, argument or trying to make the argument political. The argument is not political. The argument is about the national security. and it concerns every American, regardless of your party, race, or gender. And that's the focus right now. And that's the point right now.
I don't see how Republicans are the ones making it political when it's been Democrats saying this about Pete, him being a DUI, not even DEI, just because, they accuse him of being a drunkard or a drunk.
There's been many reports of people who worked with him who said he came to work drunk. So Democrat didn't make that up. People testified to that he came to work drunk.
Okay, but you are the one also saying Republicans making it political. You guys are trying to go with the DEI thing, saying Pitt is a DEI hire. This guy has 20 years combat experience. You know, he has two Ivy League schooling experience. So this person is not just a random guy that they picked up. These are competent people, and they're serving our country very, very
And
well.
what experience in man or human management does he have? Because the Department of Defense is actually uh, the department with the highest number of employee in the whole country. And the important part of this whole being a secretary of defense is how you manage people and all of those. And that's one of the things people risk. You just brought a guy without management experience to manage thousands of people. That's going to be a problem. And while he's a decorated veteran, there are still people that will qualify that name that could have done a better job, but they were not picked because for the president, picking secretaries who are loyal to him was more important than picking secretaries who are more competent and who are going to do the right job. He only picked the people who were going to just say, yes, sir, yes, sir. He didn't pick anybody that's critical that would challenge him, like in his first term, where he had people that they used to call adults in the room. I don't know if you're familiar with that term. In his first term, they used to call some people adults in the room, the General Mark Milley, John Bolton, the people that were more pragmatic and practical in their thoughts, that were not, yes, sir, yes, sir. But in this administration, tell me one person you think will look at the president in his face and say, oh, Mr. President, I think your decision or your position on this thing is wrong. Tell me one person.
All
None.
right, that's a
All of
good
them are
question.
going to say yes.
That's a good question, but we're not gonna go without talking about the things you've been talking about. You are talking about Lloyd Austin, all those other people that have been very competent. They are so competent that we had the disastrous withdrawal, where they left billions of dollars in military equipment in other countries, which those terrorists now are using against us. They are attacking Americans and our allies. These people left all our equipment over there, billions of dollars. We lost many Americans due to the withdrawal. Yet these people are
We
competent to
lost
you.
13. Let's
Yes.
let's let's
It,
put it in numbers.
are you
And
13? These are people's children, loved ones.
I have repeated in private and public conversation. One is enough to die. Then 13 is a disaster. And those 13 people are American heroes, regardless of party or whatever affiliation you have. Those 13 people that died are heroes. But we may need to jog our memories here that the decision to withdraw was not Biden's. It was already Trump's decision that was already in motion. And Biden came in office and they just had to follow through. Now, unfortunately, there was I think one of a suicide bomber joined the plane and he 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 detonated the bomb and people died. Now this is unverified. I cannot categorically confirm, so I'll use allegedly. Allegedly, that person that carried out the attack, the suicide bombing that killed these 13 people, was already in jail but was released. It was part of the negotiation during Trump's administration and it was released under Donald Trump. I need to confirm that claim because I read it today, but I haven't confirmed it. But the alleged bomber that killed those 13 people was a prisoner that got released under Trump when they were negotiating for the withdrawal in Afghan. So
You, thank you for talking about allegedly, because I don't want to call you conspiracy theorists. You guys are always just trying to look for ways to blame other people. How about you come up with policies? How about you come up with things, tangible things that will make people want to vote for you rather than trying to make your political opponent to look bad only? You can use that, but bring up something that matters. Trump wasn't saying anything too bad about y'all whenever he was campaigning. We all knew that Biden had mental decline. We all knew that Kamala wasn't smart because it wouldn't have been very hard to win against Trump. Many people hate Trump, just the same way a lot of people like him. But more people, I believe, hated Trump. But y'all brought these people that knew nothing about nothing to come rule over us, and people decided not to
Biden knew
allow this.
nothing about nothing.
Biden was demented man. I've said this over and over. Well, I would like to say I'm so glad I live in the United States where we have freedom of speech because I probably can't say this about uh, Nigerian president. Uh,
Talking about the same free speech you're talking about, the same guy you were able to thank God for the First Amendment, yeah, everybody. But your same guy now is trying to attack people on the same line of free speech. Is he has problems with some media house? I think today they were just talking about they're gonna defund some NRP or
NPR. But
NPR and
NPR is government funded, and they've been the outlets for Democrats. These people are supposed to be unbiased. Their CEO has said so many ridiculous things, so many that even a dummy looking at the tweets this lady tweeted, you will be like, how did they make this person such an important person? Because the lady is not very smart. Maybe she's educated, but she's not very smart. That's all I would say.
I guess to you now, the only smart people are the people are the Republican people, but I can count on my head 10 a lot, and not even 10, a lot of Republicans that I've seen and speaking publicly, and the sound as dumb as it could get, starting with the guy that's you right.
Marjorie.
Marjorie is even starting with Donnie himself. There are 10 times that he's spoken, and you just look like, come on.
Okay, well, that's your opinion. If it wasn't smart, it wouldn't have made it this far.
I don't think
Considering that a
I
lot of
think
the media were against him and he still won.
his biggest attribute is not being smart. His biggest attribute is that he's bold and he knows how to. I mean, it's bold, yeah, and he knows how to talk and how
which
to
which
sell
is a,
himself.
which are some of the characteristics you will find in intelligent, smart people. You need to know how to read the room. You need to know how to take control. Just like the way we are talking. As I'm having conversation with you right now, you are analyzing what I'm saying and trying to give me a response. Trump has been very brave with that. This guy came out of nowhere, became a president for the first time. You all tried to ruin him, jail him, destroy him, and he came back stronger than ever. Now he has the best approval rating uh, ever for himself.
You keep lying about this approval
It's
rating.
not it's not lying. It has all
He
time.
has the worst approval rating by January 21st of this year of any new president, which was 53%.
This is according to ABC News actually. Trump
So
now, as of
what
March,
source are you quoting from?
ABC News, which is anti-Trump, as of March 2025, Trump has 44% approval rating.
And that is 44 out of 100
Sir,
is a pass.
many European leaders have less than 30%.
So now
Even
we're comparing ourselves to the same Europeans that you called suckers.
are you saying that Europeans are losers also?
That's what you people call them.
No, I'm just talking about the world in general. In general,
And
besides
if you
Putin,
talk about what people call European in the leaked chat from Signals, you saw how JD Vance uh,
beautiful JD, by the
and
way, beautiful
Hegseth was
JD.
describing the Europeans. And today I've seen Austria president, I think Italian prime minister, all these people, I mean Canadian new PM, all these people are starting to raise concern now about sharing intel with the United States, and these are part of the problems.
The,
And
there is no problem anywhere. This is just fear mongering thing that the Democrats like to do.
also,
Come
it's
up
the
with
Democrat that speaks for Canada, that speaks for Australia, that speaks for Italy, that speaks for France now. Come
no,
on,
no, no, no,
don't
no,
gas.
no.
You people gas Democrat like they have some super official power to control how France, how Canada, how UK, how Australia is gonna respond.
UK hasn't said anything about sharing information with the United States. We have the best intel ever known to the world, and everybody depends on us. All those allies, you
It's
think they
funny
want
how
to be
you
our
think.
friend for no reason? How
It's
come
funny
nobody
how
wants?
you think everybody depends on us, but if you know how Intel works, everybody depends on everybody actually.
No, no, no.
Do
Everybody
you have an
depends on.
idea of how Intel works? If I'm in this Intel, if I live where I live, you live where you live. If I wanted to know what happened where you live, I can magically know. I depend on you to tell me what you know. If you wanted to know what happens where I live too, you would have to reach out to me. That's how Intel works. It's not like there's a magic where I'm just gonna sit in my house and I'll be able to figure out what happened or what's happening where you are. So the way Intel works is people working together. Mossad working with MI6, MI6 working with CIA, and so on and so forth. That's how they share intel. It's not superficial like people said in Pentagon in Washington D.C. and they just start to receive information just starts to drop from heaven. It's
Okay, I will
collaboration.
give you that. But can I come in though? I will
Yes,
give
sir.
you that. Yes, we all depend on one another. But if that's the case, that we are just nothing without this European, how come whenever we took away aid and sharing intelligence with Ukraine, Russia took more than half of Kursk region back
You see,
within matter of days?
what
How
I would
come?
agree with you is yes, for the most part, we are the biggest spender amongst all these countries. So it puts it as more at more advantage to have more intel than any other country. For example, we're the big spender, so Canada will share their intel with us. They necessarily may not be able to share that same intel with Italy. Italy will share with us. So now we get information from all of these other people, and yeah, those intel are propelled because when you look at NATO, WTO, what WHO, all of this, whatever global, you know, America spends more money in those places, and it puts us at that advantage where because people are getting that money, the most they can do is to give us intel, and that's why we're able to get these things, this information.
So then, if that is the case, why are you bringing up all these people talking about they don't think they can rely on us? If they don't want to, that's fine. We are Americans because we can. We are American, not Americans. Whatever we need, we will make it happen.
I
If
still I agree with you that this is still the greatest country ever and we would get whatever we want to get. But it's much easier when you are in good standing with your allies. It helps you, it helps them, it helps everybody. Everybody can go to bed happy and sleep comfortably.
I like that. If it was that easy, if our allies are not trying to take advantage of us and our people, if they're not trying to appear to be all good while taking advantage of us, slapping tariffs on our product, making our product expensive in their countries, meanwhile, they want to sell all their product here. If you want to tank the world, tank the United States, and you're going to see a lot of human suffering.
Well, we've been through entire back and forth, so we know your guy is still not going to do anything about the tariff. You have even admitted yourself that yeah, it's not going to do it. It's just a fear mongering and all of that. So I don't want to go on the line of talking about the tariffs again because we know your guys spinless on that. It would not It would not do anything as regards that. But hey, I agree that this is the greatest country, but I also believe that for us to be great or to remain great, we need our allies because the little information, the little thing they contribute is part of what makes us great. From the Second World War that I think it was in 1948. Since then, that has been our source of strength, the ability to get all of this intels from these people and, you know, and put it all together for our own greater use has been one significant part of why America is the greatest.
I agree with you, but I also agree that they ought to do us right. You cannot be treating us badly and pretend that you are good.
But if I don't know of anything, I mean, I try not to speculate a lot because I like to be factual. The trade deal that binds us with Canada at the moment, guess who signed it?
Who did?
Your Lord and Savior Donald Trump did. The current trade deal that binds the United States and Canada, at least I know for that. And that's why it's surprising that you negotiated the current trade deals that binds us with Canada. Then you come to talk about they're ripping us and all that. So what did you negotiate in those trade deals?
All right. So
Were you
let
sleeping
me
when you
break it
made
down.
those negotiations? Because he
Let
hasn't also admitted to that oh I was the it was under me that the current trade deal that binds us with Canada was signed. And that's what some of the Canadian leaders
Actually, that expired. That expired under Biden, and Biden started allowing them to take advantage of us again.
I don't have a fact about if it expired, but
It
I
did.
know
It
the
did
current
expire, and this is
trade
a
deal
fact.
that binds us with Canada was signed under Trump.
Initially, it was signed, but it did expire. Biden allowed it to expire, and it started allowing them to take advantage of us. And we have the chairman in chief now that's making sure that we put Americans first, and that's just what we are doing. If Canada wants to negotiate, wants to work with us, they can. If they think they can survive without us, we're gonna find out.
Well, we will see in the next couple of years if they can survive with or
Did
without.
you before we proceed? Did you see the economic growth, the report that came?
Unfortunately, I haven't read any report about economic growth at this moment. The only thing I've been focused on is Pete Hegseth, putting the American military guys in danger. But we're
And do
glad
you know why that is? Because you guys have nothing to run on other than hoping that this
you see
administration fails.
we I again in private conversations and even in public conversation, I have never wished that an administration that even though we shared opposing political views fails because if it fails it wouldn't even affect him more than it would affect me. So I wouldn't hope or pray for him to fail. I would wish that he continues to succeed at least. Because if it fails, it's gonna affect my life more than it would affect his. Yeah, are there times where maybe when they do wrong things or bring out wrong policies, we would obviously always be against that, criticize it, and use that to remind the American people why the Democrat is a better option. And for one thing is sure, and I don't know if you've been following some of the current special elections that has been happening. The most remarkable, the Pennsylvania State Senate. For the first time in 40 years, it went blue. So that is a
By a very tiny margin, only about 400 votes. And that there's a reason for that. Maybe we can talk about it on our next episode.
I mean, your reason would be, oh, it was low voter turnout. Whether or not there's low voter turnout, it is starting, and that's not the only one. I can't remember there was another special election in another state recently that went blue. So the, at the current in this current time, and if things continues this way, by next midterm, you can go to sleep with this. The house at least. will flip, and that would be a big problem for you people.
I don't think it's gonna be any big problem. This has always happened. It's not gonna be anything new. If it happens that way, then the president will need to buckle up and try to work with the people to make sure that he achieves his goal. Otherwise, Republicans are going to be voted out. Like I said in our previous episodes, I'm not a Republican, neither am I a Democrat. I am just an American that wants the country to be great. Right now, go ahead.
I mean, I would hope and pray that whatever he wants to do, he has he has like a year and couple of months to do it. Because for a fact, in the meantime, the house at least will flip.
And we are going to be here together talking about it. We're going to probably be
Because
celebrating
at the
all the
moment, I
Republicans.
think the you only have two or maybe three more
Leverage over y'all.
over Democrats. So, and already there's a lot of Republicans that we've seen their town halls. Some are not even doing town halls right now because they're scared.
Something with y'all. Something with Democrats, sir. Don't pinpoint
Have you seen
anybody.
the Sanders and AOC rallies and the thousands of people that are there?
Those people are shipped over there. They are bossing those people over there. Those are not real people, sir.
I heard the same thing in 2024, but we would say we'll be here. But I know, I mean, that I would go to bed very happy that, yeah, in 2026 midterms, the house will flip. And, and this is not being a political wizard or whatnot. It's just the way the politics has always been. Any president that comes in and has the both house by midterm, there's just always that rebellious election where it would lose one of the house. So that I'm very but we'll be here when that happens, and I feel like that would make it more difficult for him. Already, even at the moment, it's difficult. So when you now lose the house completely, there's gonna be a real problem. So if I were your guy, or if I were you, I'd advise him to continue with whatever he wants to do, especially those serious policy. And he should also understand that American presidents don't rule by executive orders. If everybody ruled by executive order, maybe George Washington wouldn't have even left office until he died. He would have just signed an executive order to make him president for life.
Well, that sounds like people that are losing now they are trying to find ways just to make their political opponent look bad. But you know what? I am going to tell you and tell everybody listening, don't let these Democrats fearmonger you, okay? The world is not crashing. The economy is doing better. The country is safer than it was under the Biden administration or under any Democrat. Our allies, they are starting to realize that we will not be taken advantage of anymore because we have a leader now that's making sure that nobody takes advantage of Americans, as well as relax, okay? Take a deep breath, work hard. Americans are known to be very hardworking. Put in all the work you can, and you are going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy so much, you're going to be tired of enjoyment. We promise that, and that's what we're
I,
delivering.
I would be happy if I get tired of enjoyment. And for the record, I don't fear monk. I don't try to scare people. There's no, let me borrow your word. There's no boogeyman coming. I don't believe in all that fear mongering people to vote. I My entire time, whenever I campaign, we campaign on policy and on the things the candidates say. There's no point to scare people or to create fear. Already, we know that this presidency it's just what it is at the moment. Yeah, we will give you that inflation is down by I think 2%. That is very good. We'll give you the flowers when it's due, but largely there's still a lot of uh, a lot of rooms for improvement that about what you people campaigned on and what you said you will do. And we will be here to see if you accomplish that. But if I were you, like you said, I would try to accomplish that between now in November of 2026, because after that midterm, the House will flip and it'll be more difficult for him to govern, because I know the Democrats will be as petty as they can be if the House flips, and they will just be borrowing from the Republican playbook as usual of being petty and wicked opposition. So
Evidence hasn't shown what he just said. The Republicans have always worked with Democrats. Democrats, when they vote, they usually vote unanimously for one thing, as they've shown during this Trump's era. So don't listen to this man. They're just trying to.
that's another lie. I wouldn't even try to go down in
They
history.
are trying
Just
to fearmonger
just
you.
just 2 weeks ago, the Democrats in the Senate, I mean in the House, didn't want this CR to pass.
And then what happened? What
The
did y'all got? What
Democrats,
did you want to do to Schumer?
they can primary Schumer. All that was just the heat in the moment. One, the election is still 4 years away. So how do you want to primary somebody that still has? And Schumer is already even know, even before he uses the 4 years, he may decide to to retire by then. So there's no point. I
You
think it
can
was.
see the game he's playing is trying to downplay it as,
I,
oh, it's not a big deal that they are trying to primary somebody just because
I
they
mean, if
decide
you're
to
talking about
prioritize our
primary
country.
somebody, guess who has couple of tweets about primarying people who don't go their way.
This is not about them. In this case, it's about the Democratic Party.
I am saying that yes, you were talking about the Democrat going one way, and I just gave you the most recent example that the Democrats in the House last year wanted the continued resolution not to be passed. They were against it, but Schumer in the Senate, a Democrat, the leader, supported for the CR to be passed. So we're not gullible people. We're not the people who are we're not the party that has a messiah that directs us one way, and if you go another way, you're going to be primary. And the old news and chat about Schumer being primary was just the hit in the moment. Schumer has 4 years to go. So there's no way you can threaten somebody that has 4 years in his term to go and is old. Like I said, by the time the 4 years elapsed, he may even have decided to retire from politics. But the news of the primary name was just a hit in the moment, and it wasn't even something that was said largely. Not a single Democrat came on TV and agreed to that. I saw Akin Jeffries was interviewed, Clyburn was interviewed, Crockett, all these people. None of them ever admitted to, oh yeah, we're gonna primary Schumer. It was just the the party supporters that were clamoring for that whole primary, and if you ask me honestly, I agree with Schumer, honestly. In that situation, the government was not shut down. Under Biden, I didn't support government shutdown. I know somebody who said, yeah, families can go home during Christmas with government being shut down and they don't get paid. I
I
don't
wonder who
support.
that is.
We know who that is, but I don't support government to shut down at any point, especially when the opposition are trying to do that from the angle of just being partisan. And that I didn't support for government to shut down. I'm not going to be a hypocrite that is against it under Biden, then support it under Trump, because it's going to affect the actual core people who put the country together, who are the people who work in the airport, some people who work in the military. All these people are not going to get paid, and that's unfair to people who dedicate their lives to these services to play politics with them. So the Democrat is not always the gullible party. Some of us we agree to disagree. So I'm one of those. I mean, I'm moderate, like I always say. So it makes me.
I can see the big moderate in you. You're so moderate. It shows. Anyway, my final thoughts. Um, don't worry, people. This tends to happen. Don't let the media and politicians play with your emotions too much. Okay. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, work hard, and do some playing. Take care of yourself. That's what matters. You matter more than the politicians for your family. Okay? Don't let them use you. We are all pawns to them. So don't let them use you anyhow. Okay? Your emotions, don't let them play with it. Prioritize yourself, prioritize your health. Do not let the fear get to you. The world is not going to crash. Thank you.
My final thought on this is don't hire a DUI if you have a company. They may send sensitive information in an unsafe way. So hire competent people. Meritocracy over DUI or DEI or anything. Hire people that are competent. And yeah, my other advice is to stay positive. As always, we believe. I mean, we pray for the country regardless of our political affiliation. So yeah, see you on the next episode. Continue to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming back.
Mm.
Peace.